Hey, it's Squidly. I'm currently on a day hike, and I have some thoughts about why do I do this? Why does anyone do this? So this morning was nice and cool, but as we're getting closer to noon, it's not noon yet, it's getting pretty hot, and which means in the deep south I'm getting pretty close to the end of my hiking season. So this is probably the last hurrah until fall. So why does anyone do this? Gnats. Or more specifically, why do I do this? And I have some thoughts on it, and I thought I might share them. In education circles where I retired from, they ask teachers all the time to remember your why. But there's a reason why they do that, and it's not what you may think. It's because teachers are overworked, underpaid, overstressed, and underappreciated. Okay, so what does that have to do with why I'm out here hiking? Because to come out here and do this, and we laugh and kind of call it type 2 fun. It's fun, but it's also a lot of work, and the conditions are not always ideal. Like right now, it's warming up, and it's going to be uncomfortably warm here in just a little while. Crazy finding you here. It's weird. So part of the why that's really related to that is that coming out here and doing this, even if it's just for a few hours, like today, it'll just be for a few hours on a Saturday, it's just for a little bit of escape, to get away from that maddening job or that maddening career, or maybe it was just the maddening week you had at work. Whatever it is, coming out here is a chance to leave that behind. Another reason is people. This is going to sound really negative. I really don't mean for it to. But for me anyways, sometimes it's good to escape people, relationships. And I'm not talking about necessarily the close family relationships that you depend on and you cherish. I'm talking about sometimes, work relationships, or the relationships you have with your neighbors, relationships you have in your community that sometimes you just need a break from. Like right now, I'm really glad that I'm out here, and I'm kind of out of reach. My phone is in airplane mode, so I'm not getting phone calls or texts. If somebody needs me, they're just going to have to wait. So the next reason that I do this, and I assume a lot of people do it, is the physical exertion. There's just something really good about doing something that requires a lot of energy, the physical exertion, and at the end of it, you're tired. And sometimes that's a really good feeling, because so many times we go to work and physically we do really nothing all day, but we come home just exhausted. But it's a different kind of exhaustion. It's a mental exhaustion. And coming out here gives you a chance to do something different, to get a different kind of exhaustion. This physical exhaustion is different than the mental, and I would argue it's a whole lot better. It just feels better. And I think I'm going to wrap this up with this final thought, that another reason I know other people do this, and it's one of the reasons I do it, is come out and kind of reconnect with nature. On a warm spring day like this, hearing the birds and seeing the trees, everything's leafed out, everything's back to being green. We've complained this morning about walking through spider webs, but everything is alive and moving around, and I like that. There have been a couple of times where we're pretty sure, we don't know for a fact, that we've heard deer running off into the woods. It was something bigger than a raccoon or a squirrel, but not as big as a buffalo. By the way, we don't have buffalo in Alabama. But to come out and kind of reconnect with natural things instead of the concrete and steel world that we've created, it just feels good. There's a lake behind me. All right, so those are my thoughts on my why for coming out here and doing this. If you have additional thoughts, and I'm sure you do, put those in the comments. I'd love to hear your reason why you do this that's maybe agrees with mine or is completely different. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I'll see you on the next one.